Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome today to our course lesson. So today's course lesson is lesson 25. I do not know what anything is for. Again, to the ego, this might be quite troubling because the ego thinks that it knows. It makes conclusions and declarations as to what resonates with it. And so with today's lesson coming forward, we get to admit to ourselves that we don't know what anything is for. And that allows us to become open to its true meaning as God intended it to be, instead of what this ego mind and the people of this world think it is. So I'm going to read through today's lesson and see what inspiration comes forward for furthered communication. But it begins like so. Purpose is meaning. Today's idea explains why nothing you see means anything. You do not know what it is for. Therefore, it is meaningless to you. Everything is for your own best interests. That is what it's for. That is its purpose. That is what it means. It is in recognizing this that your goals become unified. It is in recognizing this that you see what you see is given meaning. So this is quite potent right off the back and right off the beginning, and it takes a few of the course lessons that we've applied and learned before and encompasses it into today's. It explains why nothing you see means anything and that you don't know what anything is for. What this does is it takes the power away from the ego. It takes the decision making and the purpose setting away from the ego. Because again, ultimately, ego's only purpose is separation within this time-space continuum. And it will show up as two opposite sides of the coin, but they're both the same thing. It shows up as opposite sides of the coin to keep us locked in that dynamic that is the veil before our eyes. So it's tricky, right? But ego has had centuries to learn and to kind of be active within our consciousness, that it seems to have power over us. So with today's lesson, by taking our meaning off of it and realizing that we don't know what anything is for, is when we come back to that blank slate of mind. And it is in that blank slate of mind where what we actually want and our best interests become unified. It becomes whole, which means there's no room for ego and its thoughts of separation. No room at all. This is a complete and whole thought system unto itself. But the only way in which it will be realized is when we come back to that blank slate of mind, admit that we don't know what anything is for and that it doesn't mean anything, and then that is when the true clarity and conviction will stream forth. So to continue. You perceive the world and everything in it as meaningful in terms of ego goals. A thinner body, better clothes, a better home, a better car, a better electronic equipment, travel. Continue, right? These are the goals that the ego mind sets up for itself that it thinks it wants to attain, okay? These goals have nothing to do with your own best interest because the ego is not you. I repeat, these goals have nothing to do with your own best interests because the ego is not you. And this is a continuation from yesterday's lesson. I do not perceive my own best interests. We don't perceive our own best interest because we think we are this ego. We think we are this body. We think we are these thoughts in our mind, but we're not. And so that's why these goals have nothing to do with reality or what we really are. They're false goals that are standing in between the goal that we actually really, really want. Right? So we're needing to give up these thoughts for today. This false identification makes you incapable of understanding what anything is for. As a result, you are bound to misuse it. When you believe this, you will try to withdraw the goals you have assigned to the world instead of attempting to reinforce them. So I can share on this, but I think I'm going to share later because I've had experiences of this in my own life where I've had to let go of what I thought was my best interest in order to receive the true best interest of myself. And you better believe that when we let go of our own limited ideas and understandings of what we think we want, then what we really, really, really want comes in its place. And currently behind this veil of ego and body and this grand division, which is another word for this world, is where we can find our true answers and peace and understanding. Before you can make any sense out of the exercises for today, one more thought is necessary. At the most superficial levels, you do recognize purpose. Yet purpose cannot be understood at these levels. For example, you do understand that a telephone is for the purpose of talking to someone who is not physically in your immediate vicinity. What you do not understand is what you want to reach him for. And it is this that makes your contact with him meaningful or not. So again, Jesus is taking the purpose back up to the level of the mind. No longer looking to the form and saying this is a telephone that's used to talk to this person. That might appear to be its purpose and form, but he said also that is just the limited, superficial levels of understanding, looking right to form, right to the telephone. But what he's saying is, what is your intention? What is your purpose in making that call to someone? That is the purpose we're resurrecting in our mind. And so this is where clarity comes, where we let go of what we think we want in this world, in this form, and then we open up to what we truly want, and then the purpose dawns upon our mind perfectly, because now we have placed our mind in service of the soul and not the service of the ego. And so this is what real change of mind means, right? Change in perception means that my teacher now is no longer the ego. My teacher is the soul, my soul. And so when we recognize that we don't know what the purpose is, we don't know what anything is for, we don't know the meaning of anything, is when we become open to our soul's meaning and the soul's purpose. So it's totally different. Great example, by the way, Jesus. I must say so. It is crucial to your learning to be willing to give up the goals you have established for everything. The recognition that they are meaningless, rather than good or bad, is the only way to accomplish this. The idea for today is a step in this direction. So again, this is what we've been tackling, right? There's no good or bad or right and wrong. There is only meaningless. There's only truth and illusion. So when we recognize that what we previously had as goals, previously had as purpose, as meaningless, is when we can move beyond it to true meaning. Today is 6 practice periods. Each of 2-minute duration are required. Each practice period should begin with a slow repetition of the idea for today, I do not know what anything is for, followed by looking about you and letting your glance rest on whatever happens to catch your eye, near or far, important or unimportant, human or unhuman. With your eyes resting on each subject, you so select, say for example, I do not know what this chair is for. I do not know what this pencil is for. I do not know what this body is for. I do not know what this world is for. I do not know what anything is for. Say this quiet slowly, without shifting your eyes, until you have completed the statement. Then move on to the next subject and apply today's idea as before. Right, so it's very concise in what we're doing today. First, repeating it in our mind to get into the flow of the thought, and then as we open up our eyes, apply it to specific things that we see, including our arm, including our body, including everything that we see, because we really, really, really don't know what anything is for. We really, really don't know what purpose it really has. So in admitting to ourselves that we don't know, and stop trying to figure it out based on what other people tell us, or what we've been taught before, or what sounds good or resonates with ego. And instead of even going there, just focus on applying the course lesson, because again, we don't need to understand it right now. Our willingness will carry us through to the experience. So once we recognize it as meaningless, is the only way in which we can move beyond it to the meaningful. So we want the meaningful today, beautiful souls, and that is a shared experience that we all can have in this united mind that we share. This is what I desire and want for everybody. So I look forward to all of you sharing what took place in your day in regards to this thought, and how it was helpful. So I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow. Have a blessed day. I do not know what anything is for.